Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk to you about accessories, why they're useful, why you should perhaps be doing them if it's applicable in your training. And yeah, let's get right into it. Let's first start with my own anecdotal experience. Before I started doing accessories, I was in a lot of pain, particularly in my shoulders, um, my knees, things like that. Just my joints were a little bit achy. And what I didn't understand is that this was for a lack of muscle in certain areas. Like I had really good front delts, but my side delts and my rear delts needed work. And I found when I started doing rear delt flies, lateral raises and things like that, things that hypertrophied these areas, I started to feel a lot better. Even just getting blood flow in there alleviated the pain. Doing band pull aparts, things like that between sets made me feel a lot better. Doing my leg curls made my knees feel a lot better. And what this shows us is that pain usually happens because of some sort of imbalance in chain. I believe Louis Simmons said this, or he alluded to this. If you have a one weak link in the chain, it's going to be harder to progress, especially pain-free. Now, we're going to talk about perhaps like what kind of accessories you should be doing for like different situations. Let's go back to that delt example. If you're doing a lot of overhead pressing, a lot of benching, that's flipping amazing. Keep doing that, right? That's the meat of your train. That's the meat and potatoes of your training. That's what's required. That's what you should be doing. But if you're experiencing a lot of pain doing that, right? That's minimalism, right? And if you only want to do that, that's what minimalism is. Only wanting to do those things, stick to those tried and true basics, which should be always the meat and potatoes of your training. But if you are in pain doing that, then yes, maybe you should do a rear delt fly, a lateral raise to get some things balanced. Maybe you have some elbow pain. Maybe it's because your brachialis isn't that strong, your biceps aren't as strong, your triceps. Maybe if you have some lockout issues, right? Getting through that last half of the rep on bench press, overhead press. Maybe you do need some stronger triceps, some bigger triceps. Down in the legs. Hey, maybe if your pulling strength isn't as good as you want it to be, your RDLs are struggling, your deadlifts are struggling. Maybe it's because your hamstrings aren't as strong, because that's a big part of pulling. So getting those hamstrings as strong could help a lot. Getting those calves right could help a lot, especially in the long term. So let's have two lifters, lifter A and lifter B. All things else are equal, right? They're pretty much twins. Lifter A and lifter B. One does accessories, one does not. Over the long term, who do you think is going to get stronger? Well, let's break it down. Lifter A, he's doing his accessories, right? Which over time is going to allow him to get bigger, pack on more muscle, while also completing his performance metrics. Lifter B is just completing his performance metrics, right? So what do we run into with lifter B? Torso dominance, right? A really strong torso, weak limbs, right? Lifter A, over time, he packs on more muscle, and he not only gets bigger because he's packing on more muscle, but he's getting stronger as well. Weight mass moves math, so to speak, right? That's what sort of applies here. The bigger you are, the more strength potential you can have. So doing these accessories not only keeps you pain-free, healthy, perhaps even mobile, but it also allows you to get stronger over time based off the fact that you will be getting more size. So that's just another benefit of accessories and why you perhaps should be doing them. When are accessories applicable? That's another thing. Well, I say as needed. If you are completing your novice phase like me, and you're getting to that point where things are getting harder, perhaps you're getting some aches and pains, right? Some of that can be alleviated through accessories. Even if it's just band work, it can be alleviated. And I believe that's everything I wanted to cover. Number one, why you should be doing accessories, what kind of accessories you could perhaps do for different weaknesses and things like that, and well, when are they applicable? Yeah. If you found this useful today, be sure to leave a comment, like, perhaps even subscribe. I'm shooting for one video a week, and then eventually two, so on and so forth. Increase my capacity to do this, because I do enjoy doing this, giving information like this. But with that being said, good lifting. Hit some PRs. Bye bye.